everybody, and welcome back to Operation Moonsucker. And yes, I have told you in the previous episode I want to move the base. So this is it. This is the big crane that I'm trying to use to get the base out of the way. So that's the reason for the title of this episode: Move Base, Get Out of the Way. For anybody of you who thought about some other word beginning with B, you're mistaken. So we have some nice heating effects here, rising up into the atmosphere, surprisingly stable, even though full aerodynamic forces are in effect. And we're almost ready to ditch the first stage and continue on our second stage that will get us to Minmus and even deorbit a little bit. So we're doing a circularization burn over here. I have to admit it's a little bit unstable, but yeah, should work. It should work, probably. So let's get to our base, and we're already above it, burning the rest of the fuel, and then ditching that part of the rocket so we can continue with the crane proper. So I'm going to skip ahead through a few of these maneuvers because, as you may imagine, this can take quite a while since Minmus's gravity is not as high as other planets, and yeah, so it takes a while to get down to the surface if you want to do a very slow and controlled descent, which I am trying to perform here. So basic construction of this thing is I have some docking ports and internal robotics to get those docking ports connected to the respective parts, some girders to extend the range, and in the center we have the fuel tanks and a bunch of those radial engines, the tiny ones. And here we are, we're already in visible range of our refuel base, and I'm going to try to get this over to the mining site. Yeah, so this is a really difficult approach. So you see, I have to keep this thing steady, which does not want to stay steady. I also have to aim for that station because I really have to hit it bang on from the center, from the top, which is easier on Minmus than on other planets, but still it is quite a bit of a challenge, at least to somebody like me. Maybe there are some other people around who can do that a lot easier, but yeah. So you may have noticed there is an ore tank protruding from the fuel tanks. The reason for that is I'm using it as sort of a counterweight to balance the entire thing, because I have calculated what kind of amount of resources I would need in the tanks on that ship and in the base to make this really work. And whoa, we almost grazed some solar panels there. Maybe it would have been prudent to retract them for this maneuver, but yeah, I've switched to the bottom docking port to control it from there, and I'm using docking alignment indicator to get the crane really on top of the base. I'm basically just flying by instruments here. I'm really just looking at my target reticle and trying to get those green lines in the center by using my Werner engines. I'm not using any monopropellant or reaction control system. And yeah, I think I have 2 reaction wheels, something like that. But yeah, I'm trying to get somewhat, I think 50 tons of crane. Nah, it must be less than 50 tons, but quite some tons of crane on top of about 150 tons of base. And yeah, we're hovering, and this is looking good actually. Yes, coming down, and we're docked! Yay! So, now for the easy part, or maybe not. These things should connect. I've built this entire thing in the spaceplane hangar. I rebuilt the base in my spaceplane hangar, but of course I had the final carbonite tanks on the back, which are not here yet. And yeah, that's something I have to do after landing this, but yeah, that won't be a problem, because here is one, and I'm going to get the second one from my crane. There it is, just have to open it up. Bam, undock. And yeah, Infernal Robotics is once more a buggy mess. I mean, look at that. This should not be, you know, instead of redesigning the interface like in one of the previous versions, like the second or third version before this one, maybe they should have concentrated more on that bug that has been persisted since, well, ages. Because sometimes, for reasons not fathomable to me, especially the hinges, they kind of are all over the place. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, then you have to restart the game, then you have to maybe quick reload, then you have to pray. Yeah. So, but now I am concentrating rather on putting that tank onto the base so I can get all the parts over to their destination. Landing legs being in the way, but we're going to manage. I think this is going to... And what is going on with these hinges? Do you see that? Those hinges on top of the long girders? Yay, jump around. Why are you jumping? Weird stuff happening here. Really weird stuff. And yeah, why are those hinges, once more Infernal Robotics hinges, why are they kind of offset to the left, or why is that? Because they were bang in the center of the girders, and now they're not. And I have no idea why. The only thing was I switched to another vehicle and quick saved and reloaded, and yeah. So I doubt that this will work. I'm trying, but if those hinges are offset, then also the docking ports are offset, and yeah, this is not good. This won't work at all now, will it? Nevertheless, I thought maybe I should try anyway. And yeah, as you can imagine, it ended quite badly. Boom! Some explosions, some solar panels flying away, and yeah, so I decided, well, this was maybe not the right technique I have used, and so I ditched this into the surface. And again! Time to do it again. This time I replaced the docking ports with some claws. Yes, I know the claws are Kraken bait deluxe, but since I'm already using Infernal Robotics, which is also Kraken bait in and of itself, I thought, yeah, well, what the hell. And it only has to work once. So we're once again on our approach vector to the base. Well, this looks like I'm going to overshoot it a little bit. And yeah, I also increased the oomph of this crane by adding the thud radial engines, the bigger ones, so this will lift the base more easily. You can see the white things protruding from the body of the crane there. And now we're doing all of it again, the entire approach. Yeah, I've got some practice now. And yeah, it looks good actually. Smooth. I also added some more Werner engines on the ends of the girders, so I have some more control as I have connected the base, because of course the center of mass will shift significantly once I have the base attached. But now first I have to get it down there. Come on. You know, I already did it. I could have fast forwarded to the solution, but I wanted to show you that I did all of this again. Yay! No cheating was involved in the making of this video. And here we are. Looking good. We have a dock, at least on the center port. And well, I think now it's time to get the claws ready. Okay, the other docking ports do not seem to be connected. Not sure if this will be a problem or not. I think it's more important that I have the claws connected to the outliers of the base. So there we go. Open claw, or rather arm the claw. And arm the other one, and arm the other one, and the other one. So I have to arm 5 claws. And then I'm using internal robotics hinges to boom, that's attached, and boom, that's attached as well. Looks good, and now it's time for the last ones in the back. There we go. Okay, so let's set our target, and then it's time for a little trip. A trip to the refinery, not the refinery, the mining location, so I can spare myself the tedium of bringing the ore across the entire flats of Minmus. And look at that! We are flying! The base is airborne, or should I say spaceborne? Well, it's flying. And it's flying slowly, but that's okay. And I have a few hundred meters per second of delta V left. Yeah, that should be enough. That's not that much of a distance, and yeah, of course we could get some more fuel. Would take a while, but we could get some more fuel. But first let's just retract those solar panels so they don't get destroyed when I maybe make a rougher landing. Let's hope not that the landing will be rough. Let's hope it will be as smooth as silk and soft landing. But this is Kerbal Space Program, so how likely is it that the landing will be smooth? Now, let's be honest. Okay, now, I've skipped ahead a little bit to the descent part. We have lost a lot of fuel in between, and we are now on a trajectory bringing us very close to our miner. And yeah, I'm trying to keep this on the correct path, and yeah, I realized that for some reason I placed one of the thud engines somewhat in between other parts, so basically it cannot thrust correctly. Yeah, so I have 2 engines and not 3. Fun! But here we are, and this is too fast. No, 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 nah. Oh well, the refinery parts are still okay, but yeah, I tried again. So here once more, I quick saved of course on the descent path, so this is just, I really started from here. And this is looking a lot better than before. You can see in the left hand side I've disabled one of the engines. I've also enabled the refineries to make some fuel, because as you can see, we're almost empty. This is going to be a very close call. So firing, trying to get my vector directly onto my target, but you can see this thing wobbles and shimmies about. Yeah, it's not so easy. Whoa, 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 whoa. And now I only have, whoa, not much delta V left. We're basically empty. Trying to bleed off as much of my speed as I can, and much of my lateral speed as I can, so I only have vertical speed to deal with when I touch down, because otherwise this thing could flip or skid around or do all kinds of crazy stuff. And yeah, closing in, closing in, closing in, closing in, and yeah! Look at that! Almost empty! Woo! What a ride! So yeah, here we are. I have moved the base. And now it's time to get the crane off of that base. I could maybe even let it on there, but yeah, it looks stupid, and it decreases part count, and increased part count increases all kinds of weird stuff inside of Kerbal Space Program. So we're closing all of our claws, and Infernal Robotics once again decides that it does not want to work properly, and I cannot put those hinges back into a horizontal position, but yeah, it worked anyway. So I'm just going to put this down right beside the base. Yeah, weird maneuvering, but I had to bleed off some of my velocity. So I'm coming down, coming down, coming down, coming down. Going to set this down gently beside the base until I have all that I need over here, and then I'll get rid of this as well. There we go. And yeah, now the miner can get connected directly to the base, and then I can mine and collect ore and refine the ore in just one step, and do not have to transfer the ore around the entire plains of Minmus. Yeah, I learned something during this series, which is try to keep your drilling and your refining in one place. So we're heading backwards. Levi Kerman is heading towards the refinery. Fortunately, we don't have a lot of reaction wheels on board, so it's a little bit trickier than with our flatbed. And whoa! Careful now. We don't want to ruin anything, so let's just retract those rather sensitive equipment and stow it away. There we go. In this case, Infernal Robotics worked as intended. What do you know? And it's time to dock. Or not. Okay, let's try that again. Come on. Okay, let's... Maybe we should make ourselves smaller a little bit. Those drills. Get back inside of the cargo bays, and let's close them up. And let's... why is that light still working? I thought I turned it off. Yeah, it's kind of toggled together with the cargo bays, but then again, when I close the cargo bays, it's not toggling, so yeah, weird stuff happening. Weird stuff happening. And I also found out that I have no more electricity left, but that's not a problem, because I have my fuel cells, and those fuel cells gave me enough time to extend solar panels, and yeah, no biggie. So the fuel cells are recharging. I'm always using the fuel cells in such a way that I lock the electric charge that they have left, so I have some kind of emergency reserve in cases like these. And now it's time to move the rest of our equipment, which is basically 2 cranes and the flatbed rover. So here we have it. And we're trying to get a dock with the crane, so some weird wobbling around going on here. Come on. Yes, there we go. We are attached to the rover and setting our target to the destination rather. And then it's time to head over there. So yeah, as some of you have suggested, it probably would have been easier to use the crane to ferry the ore from the mining rig to the refinery. And yeah, just my luck that I have to land on the only inclination in, well, the vicinity of my new base location, but yeah, it doesn't matter. There we go. We have brought our flatbed to our base. And yeah, Infernal Robotics now decides to work, and we can get the rover to the base. Come on, Hellbolt Kerman, let's keep trucking. And why am I needing the rover here? I am needing the rover to lift this part up so that the ore miner can connect to it. You can see the landing gear moving up and down. I'm trying to get this into a stable position. Okay, since it's rolling, I have to enable the brakes so it won't roll away once I've extended the legs. There we go. That looks okay. Okay, time to connect this. Yeah, probably would not need the docking alignment indicator mod, but I'm using it anyway to make sure that I get a lock on that ore canister. So get over there and dock with it. Boom. Yes, and why is it always jumping around when something is docked? This is really weird behavior. I have no idea why, but yeah. And we have docked the flatbed to the tanks, and it's time now to fill the tanks because we have a mission to fulfill, and the mission is to get fuel to orbit to our, you may remember from the first episode, to our Ringo Gigante space station in orbit, which is acting as a refueling hub for orbital spacecraft that don't want to land on this surface. There we go. Time to drill. Just enabling the fuel tanks again. I've disabled them for the trip from location A to location B, and now it's time to say goodbye to our big crane. Thank you for working so well for just one mission. But you're a purpose-built vehicle, and now it's time to die. Now, back to business and back to the weird jumping part when physics is enabled. And yeah, as you can see, for some reason the Infernal Robotics parts there on top of the ore crawler are not aligned anymore. I have no idea why, but yeah. We have fuel and we have lost fuel. What? Okay, I undocked this part from the rest of the base, and for some reason another part decided to just disintegrate. Yeah, as I mentioned before, weird stuff is happening. It's really time to get this series to an end. yeah, but first I have to get this fuel into orbit to our station, and I've skipped ahead to where I put it under the crane. There we go. Bye bye fuel. Nice knowing you. And then it's time for the crane to grab it and get it into orbit. I've had some weird phenomena with Kerbal Engineer during the last few sessions, because the readout in center left, the second from the left, shows me my thrust to weight ratio. And it says it's 1.15 or something like that, but it behaves a little bit rather than it's like 1.01 or something like that. And before with the crane, the big crane, it was more like I had to get a thrust to weight ratio of 2 to actually lift off from Minmus. So yeah. Once again, weird stuff happening, but we're on our way to orbit with a delicious can of fuel. Question is, will it last? Because I'm rising so slowly that, yeah, I had to refill on the way up, and I had to take away part of the fuel from my precious cargo, but yeah, what do you know? Still enough left in there to make a difference when I arrive, and trying to get a rendezvous here. Some maneuver noting going on, and this actually looks promising. So yeah, we will get into the right plane. And yes, we got an encounter, and there it is, my big ring space station. The pride and joy of the Kerbal engineering companies that have worked on this project. And now it's time to fill her up. And for that we're going to have to dock. We're going to use the docking port right in the center, and also not the one on the dark side, even though we have some big lights. We're going to use the one on the sunny side so you can see everything. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit tedious, so I'm going to skip ahead and go right to the docking part. There you go, look at that, what a big station, and we have some fuel incoming. There you go. Come on. Boom! We are connected, and we're going to transfer the fuel now. And then this will be the end for this series. And, well, maybe not for my refuel base. You may see it in future episodes, or maybe an improved version, but for Operation Moonsucker this is the final segment, the final episode, because I have new things that I want to do, especially two things. One is an Outer Planets mission from scratch, and another is a grand tour. Yeah, so you gotta watch out for those. Which will be happening on this channel in the future. I'm also planning on releasing a video on a few frequently asked questions from you guys, especially about what kinds of mods I use. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.